out of a lot of advertising around high meat dog diets, why would you feed a dog a vegan diet? This is when understanding your customer and having a team of experts comes into play.
Dr. Mahsa Vazin is the founder of PawCo Foods, a plant-based dog food company with the mission of making the world a greener place, one dog meal at a time. Mahsa has worked with board-certified animal nutritionists to develop an optimal product for dogs, and her own background is beyond impressive and is actually a perfect fit for this disruptive pet venture, as Mahsa earned her PhD in nanoscience and was previously one of the early food scientists at Impossible Foods.
You can see how this is setting up to be a perfect recipe for the first plant-based meat for dogs.
On today's episode, we will dive into Mahsa and Paco's story. Welcome to Barking Mad, a podcast by BSM Partners. We're your hosts, Dr. Stephanie Clark.
And I'm Jordan Tyler.
So Mahsa, you and I had a little bit of an intro before we sat down to record today, and you mentioned that people who knew you before you went to work at Impossible Foods might find it a little shocking that you now choose plant-based foods for yourself and your dog. So do you mind sharing a little bit more about that part of the story?
Yeah, definitely. First of all, thank you for having me here today. And thank you for the amazing introduction. It's a very interesting story. I was born in a Persian family. In our culture, animal meat are vastly used for different dishes. And in addition to that, I was also very scared of all animals, including dogs. So that's why probably my former colleague in Impossible Foods were shocked when they heard that I'm working on plant-based dog food, those combinations. But everything has changed in my life since the day I welcomed Paco to my family. I became vegetarian myself. I love the love for Paco changed my career path as well. And now I really believe that all animals and not just dogs deserve to live and have a happy, healthy life. As Gandhi said, where there is love, there's life. So that definition really changed my life and my career. So I chose the plant-based diet to make a big difference in the pet food industry. So we created this optimized product that we call it green meat. It has all the nutritious, all the flavors, and tastes like meat. It looks like meat without sacrificing other animals or having a negative impact on the environment.
Exactly. Again, I think your story is so neat because, like a lot of pet parents, you get a pet and you really want to know what to feed them. And you start searching for the best option. And unlike many pet parents, your background is a food scientist. So it's really neat combination for the birth of PawCo.
So one of our consumer insights specialists here at BSM Partners, Michael Johnson, always tells brands and companies that you can't simply say that your target audience is pet owners. It's just too broad and not specific enough. So we see pet owners with a range of priorities and interests, and they also have different definitions for things. So when you say vegan or plant-based, what is your definition?
So I think basically there's two big difference between vegan and healthy food. Not necessarily every vegan food is healthy, especially when it's a dried pet food that has all the problem of low quality ingredient that people won't really see or being made at very high temperature, in which temperature the product will lose all of the nutritional values. So here we created, or actually I would better say we invented the first plant-based meat optimized for dogs that is called green meat. We filed a patent for that, we trademarked it, and it's the base for all of our recipes. So our goal is to change people's mindset of healthy, plant-based can be delicious, and it's the diet that dogs can actually thrive on. And there are lots of data out there that really prove that. But here we are also working so hard to make that happen and again validate all of those data that are out there.
That's a very good point. I like how you brought in that there's two definitions. Vegan can be vegan, but it doesn't mean it's healthy, and healthy doesn't have to be vegan. It kind of reminds me of potato chips or French fries. They're vegan, but maybe they're not the best healthy option for us. They taste great, but you say you're binding the vegan, the healthy, and the taste good all in one. So, I mean, it sounds pretty good to me, right? But going back to our pet owners, when you're looking at your pet owners who are attracted to PawCo, how would you describe them? What's specifically attracting them to PawCo?
First of all, it's very interesting to know that we have about 70 million dogs in just US, and about 10% of them are already on vegan or vegetarian diet. So it's already, there's a huge demand for this type of product. But our customers, they are interested in our product for different reasons. One of the most important one is allergies. The top three allergen for dogs are actually animal-based product: chicken, beef, and dairy. But there are also other groups of people that are interested in our product or vegan, vegetarian pet product. Either they're vegan or vegetarian themselves and they have a dog and they are not willing to actually sacrifice other animals to feed their dog also. And the third group are environment cautious owners that really are looking for a more sustainable and eco-friendly type of product. But plant-based pet food is already a $26 billion market globally, and it's also growing 10% annually.
That's fantastic. And you started talking a little bit about it goes beyond the term vegan. You really pioneered plant-based meat for dogs. You mentioned this earlier and you called it green meats. So is there something that's really important to you when it comes to specifically plant-based meats for dogs?
I read something somewhere, I don't know where was it, but it mentioned that why do we need to even mention a plant-based meat? Why not just say plant-based food? And I think it's going back to like people's mindset and perception of food. They really need to go through a transition to really accept that this is another type of food that can be tasty, healthy, and it's the same for dogs. What we have created, it's really different than those that were already in the market, like plant-based kibbles or like different type of product in the market. So having this plant-based meat that tastes like meat, has all the nutrition, it was something that shows people dogs as being omnivore, they can really thrive and they can really love this type of product.
Excellent point. So going deeper into PawCo, what would you say are the core values of PawCo that really drives your passion for the company?
So I would say first, sustainability. We believe the future of food is sustainable, and we are changing the world and helping out our planet one meal at a time. We have that on all our shipping boxes. You probably have seen it. Another thing that is our top core value is a word that is animal cruelty-free. We don't have to kill animals to feed another category of animals. So we already have partnered with nonprofit organizations like PETA or Plant-Based Food Association to help to push their agenda forward. And we are working together since we have the same vision and mission.
And speaking on that, there's been a lot of exciting things going on in the world of PawCo. Since launching on the market about a year ago, you've received a ton of support from the startup and innovation world. You won the food and ag category of Rally's in-prize pitch competition just last year. And I'm thinking back to what you said. It all started out by filling out a form. Amazing things happen when you're a go-getter. So what do you think was kind of the big thing that won over the judges for this competition?
I think first is that I believe everyone in the food and ag space understands the value of sustainable plant-based food for human and for pets. One of the biggest point that I think really was, had influence on them was our revenue. They all say that number never lies. One of the judges also brought up a good point, and he said that plant-based food for human have the challenge of growth, and asked me that why that's not the case for PawCo. And the answer was like very simple. Dogs or like pets, they don't have the ego that humans.
Yeah, I love that. We all love pets for that. And really, we just love them and they love us back. I love that point. Very smart judges.
And Masa, would you mind sharing a little bit about you've won this very large amount of money? Where's it going to go? Hopefully to grow PawCo. But I was wondering if you wanted to share a little bit about some of the things you're looking forward to doing with this funding.
So definitely, I would say expanding our production side, expanding our R&D team, so we can create more innovative new product, so we can satisfy all customers with different like budget, different preferences. That is definitely our top priority, and also working at our marketing.
I really love that. And you mentioned innovation when it comes to your products and some of the things you think about. You know, it's really one of the things I absolutely love about you and PawCo, just watching that. And so you have this combination of a food science background, you have this amazing entrepreneurial spirit, and this passion for PawCo's mission. You've also started leveraging AI, and you have some really interesting thoughts on how we can incorporate AI into the pet space. So, how do you see AI coming into the pet space? And what are you most excited about leveraging specifically for PawCo?
We see AI as a catalyst that can help us to unlock infinite number of product for different people with different criteria. So we use AI for optimization, bidding, simulation. So we don't have to really like manually go through thousands of trial and error, and so we can actually even in a shorter amount of time create more optimized type of product that are super delicious, healthy for our lovely dogs.
I think it's really interesting the thought process that you've done and the innovation into making your products really feel and smell and taste like meat. Can you maybe explain to some of the listeners all the innovation that you've done to really make this product not just look like plants in a jar, or people really feel like it does look like meat, which I love about your product. So I think it's really interesting what you've done and how you've done it. If you could dig a little deeper into that.
So first of all, I would say thank you to this amazing team that we work with them, the BSM animal nutritionist team, that we had a chance and get lots of recommendation, and lots of support from them to help us to understand different aspects of like pet food even more. And one aspect is palatability. If we were able to create the most delicious dog food, but it was not appealing to dogs, a pet owner wouldn't buy it. So I think it's all of those things to consider when it comes to pet food, both the nutrition and the taste. And I think definitely that was something that we started like thinking about it at the beginning. We had all of those palatability tests to make sure that our product has a very high liking score. And when the result came back, I was super happy. Probably remember that day. But our product had a very high liking score, and that shows that this is a product that even those picky eater won't refuse it. Maybe like human dogs, they have different preferences and different tastes. Our goal is to create more product for those dogs with different tastes, and we really work on individual product to make sure that we have a like good palatability and taste and aroma for different type of palates.
And I appreciate all of the importance around aesthetics that you do put into it as well. It's been really fun to watch your products develop and change and to grow into something super healthy and super tasty and enjoyable for the pet owner to give to the dogs. So
Thank you. Thank you. We definitely could have not done it without your help. So thank you so much for all the help and support.
So, Masa, what do you think has been a key factor that's contributed to your success so far?
I would say, we created the right product in the right time in the right market. we would have launched PawCo product 10 years ago or 5 years ago, we maybe couldn't see this much of demand or couldn't see this much of success for PawCo foods. So the timing was also perfect for us.
Yes, there's a podcast that discusses how things are built, and the host always asks, do you think that your success is from all the hard work that you did or luck? And it's interesting because most people say there's always an element of both, right? You have to do the work and you have to show up at the right time. Now, of course, we've really focused on a lot of your celebrations. You've had a lot of success, but at the same time, it's also good to understand that there are challenges out there. So what do you feel are yours or will be your biggest challenges for you in PawCo Foods?
You're definitely right. Being a founder is so challenging, especially when you are first time female founder. So I think for us, we really needed to bootstrap the company and really like launch the product, show revenue. And then that was like really like hard for the investor to say no, regardless of if you are a female or a male founder. That's what we did. We launched the product and we show a very strong revenue. And that helped us to really like prove that this is a product and there's a huge demand for that. And there are many logistical challenges that you really need to overcome to be able to succeed.
It's good of you to say that because a lot of people don't realize that until they've gotten into it. So thank you for sharing with everyone. There's a lot of moving parts when it comes to the pet industry.
Now, we've talked a lot about your passion, but if you had to summarize things at the end of this episode or at the end of the day, what continues to fuel your passion behind PawCo Foods?
I want to live in a world that is animal cruelty free, and we don't have to have a negative impact just because we want to create a food. We can create a more sustainable, eco-friendly, animal-friendly type of food. So I think if I can see that I can have that impact, definitely I will be a happy person, and I feel like I've achieved something.
Speaking of happiness, you personally, though this doesn't necessarily have to be anything about PawCo, but wanting to know more about you, when or where are you the happiest, Mahsa?
At home, definitely the time that I spend with Paco, not the Paco company, but the Paco, the dog. Those times that we go for a walk or play together, definitely those times that I try to take my mind off from work, everything else, and just pay attention to him as my son, not like a pet or dog. But I'm also happiest when we are as a team creating new products that can address one of the customers' need. Just something new like that shelf stable product, for example, that we created for those who were looking for something more like affordable, shelf stable type of product. And I love the R&D aspect of our project, and I'm excited to bring new product to the market event this year and more each year.
That's really exciting. So, up to this point, what do you consider your greatest achievement?
Probably inventing grain meat, the very first plant-based meat for dogs, and also that InstaBite, the very first shelf-stable product that we also launched earlier this year, was the greatest achievement that we had at PawCo as a team, not just myself, but we all were involved and we are all proud of it.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Mahsa. It has been a pleasure to learn more about you and share more about PawCo, both the dog and the company.
Thank you for joining us on Barking Mad, a podcast by BSM Partners. If you want to learn more about us, please visit us at www.bsmpartners.net. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast and share it with a friend. We'd also like to thank our dedicated team, Adamiette Thomas, Neely Bowden, Paige Lanier, and Dr. Katie Miller. A special thanks to Leanne Haggerty and Michael Johnson.